want to know which planet was causing your suffering? How about Earth?
Hey everyone, Granblue here, back with a new Granblue Fantasy Relink video. For today's video, I want to go over the captain and the auto combos you'll have accessible to them, as well as the skills, and just talk about the damage you can expect when you play them. So just as a full disclosure, this build I'm using is not going to be very indicative of what you're going to see in real gameplay. I've done a lot of work into making sure the damage cap is kind of readable, so you can see the upper maximum of what you can expect from all the hits. But just keep in mind that all these hits will be mostly hitting the damage cap, which is going to be not very true when you're playing them with not enough attack power or damage modifiers to hit that cap. So the reason why that's important is because a lot of these damage hits, a lot of them have different types of modifiers on them. So for example, like if I hold power raise to the maximum charge, all these small swings before the major big swing are way weaker than the final big swing. So you'll see that when I'm labbing, I'll hit cap on all of those small swings. You will probably not hit cap on those small swings until you're maxed out and in the super late game, which I doubt you are if you're watching this video. All that aside, I will be condensing this video down to only a few combos that I think are the most important. I've done like an hour of retakes where I just talked and I had to scrap those because I thought it was just too much information, and I thought I rambled too much because I like talking, and if I have a reason to talk, I will talk. So I'm trying to cut down on that as much as possible. So hope you guys forgive me for the less detail. I just want to show you guys what I think is most important in your captain gameplay. So if you are new to captain, you should be aware that every time you hit something and you hit a finisher, you are going to generate an art stack. So different types of combos and combinations of your attacks, whether it's power strikes or your normal attacks, they'll generate different types of combos and therefore different amounts of damage and art stacks. So I'll be calling the left click, which should be X on the Xbox controller, light hits, just so there's less confusion, and I'll be calling the right click, which is going to be the Y on Xbox, the heavy hits. That way, hopefully, we'll have a bit less confusion on what combos I'm talking about, just because I know that I'm using mouse and keyboard and most players are not going to be always on that. So anyways, the very basic combo that all captains probably know at this point is going to be a bunch of light hits into this little spin into the heavy kick. Now that is going to be a pretty good combo. That is a long combo, and that will give you about 2 art stacks and a lot of damage. I'll go ahead and beat on the dummy with this stopwatch I have in the top right corner of my screen, just so that we know the kind of numbers we're working with, and the reason why I suggest that you kick the habit of using this as soon as possible. So I'm going to hit start. I'm going to do all the combos. Oh, and I see I messed up because the bot just died instantly. So go ahead and reset. But while I'm doing that, I just wanted to tell you guys that the reason why I didn't realize that one shot him, honestly. But the reason why that this combo should be stopped, you should stop using this combo as soon as possible, is because it's honestly quite trash. And you'll see why really quickly. So I'm going to hit start, combo the dummy, and try and stop it as soon as I hit that last button, just so you have a good idea of what we're working with. So I'm going to hit start, go ahead and do all these hits. So I tried to move as fast as I could there, and you'll see that's about less than 5 seconds for the full combo. At the very end of it, you can dodge to cancel the end lag, but you'll see that I gained 2 art stacks for a total of arts 3. And the total damage you'll see in the corner is about 435,000. Keep that in mind while I reset it, because I'll show you a combo that is not only faster, but also does more damage. And that's going to be the light, heavy until light, and then finishing with the heavy. This combo will also give you 2 art stacks and also will do more damage, as I'll prove right now. So we're going to go start, light, heavy, light into heavy, and I'm going to click. You can see that this is also less than 5 seconds, but this time you can tell it took a little longer to click the stop button. So this combo is already significantly faster than the other combo is. And if you saw the total damage before I started hitting it, it was higher than the 435. So we can do a bit of easy math here. 927 divided by 2 is about 460. So I'm already doing about 25,000 more damage per hit, which is going to be, as you can see, about a light hit's worth of damage, which will add up very quickly over time, especially consider that you're not actually losing anything from this combo. You get the second, so you can see there's 2 points in this combo where we get art stacks, which is true for the first combo as well. But the benefit with this combo is that you actually get the first art stack very early on. So you can see we get it here. So I can always abridge that, I can always cut that last bit short dodge, and then end it, if you know what that is. So if you don't know how dodge works in this game, if you're in a combo while you're attacking, you can actually continue that combo after that dodge if you press the right inputs. So let's say that I'm attacking a boss and I'm trying to get this Arts 3 up. I can always go for this combo here. I can hit it, dodge, and then immediately go for the finisher, which will give me the last arts piece that I need. So this combo is very flexible. Again, it's just so much easier to use than the other combo, which requires you to stand in place for so long. You don't get that first arts combo until the literal very end, and it's just way slow and it's very inconvenient. So those are the 2 heavy combos. Once again, I really recommend you guys only use the second heavy combo, which once again is the heavy, or sorry, it's gonna be the light, heavy into a light into a heavy. That's gonna be your bread and butter if the boss is not moving. It'll really give you a lot of arts gains, and it'll give you a lot of flexibility when it comes to approaching and dodging during those cooldowns. So for the second combo, I want to talk about a medium combo, which is going to be kind of the same thing as the long combo, except instead of going for light into heavy, you're going to go for a heavy into heavy. So it's going to be light attack into heavy. Now the reason why I call these medium combos is because they do only generate 1 stack of arts. So we'll see here, hit. I'm only going to be doing 320,000 damage, which is going to be about 30% less than the long combo. So you're losing a lot of damage in return for a much shorter timer. I actually realized I didn't really do this properly, so I'll show you guys how short it is in comparison to the long combo right here. So you see it's about a full second shorter, which is not bad when you're trying to just do a really a decently powerful combo and then getting out. So this combo, once again, you can kind of use this combo if you're attacking a boss. It always starts the same way, light, heavy. And then when you do that heavy attack, you have about half a second to gauge whether or not you think that boss will leave. If the boss is leaving, go ahead and finish with the heavy, and hopefully you'll hit that heavy and get that arch charge and damage. But if that boss looks like it's going to stay, you can always continue the combo and get your full value out of it. Now, I think I didn't mention this earlier, but something to note about the long combo is that your power arrays will charge really fast. So you see here, that's the pure base, no shenanigans going on. If you're playing the captain, you probably know that if you do a combo, the power arrays comes out way faster. So you can see that took maybe a third of the time. That's a long combo power arrays. If you do a medium combo or a short combo, you'll notice that the power raise is still a lot faster than the base, but it's way slower than the full combo power raise. So just keep that in mind while you're going for these stout heart cancels if you have stout heart, or you're just trying to eke out some more damage with power raise, because power raise is a lot of damage compared to the normal auto combos, especially if you're at Arts 3 and you're just trying to hit Arts 4 with a really powerful hit. Anyways, the last combo I want to go over is going to be the light combo or the short combo, which is going to be light hit, heavy hit. Now this is going to be your weakest damage output so far. I'll go ahead and just reset the instance once again so you can see just how little damage it does, because it only consists of a light hit into a heavy hit into a heavy hit. 202,000 damage. That is not even half of the heavy combo damage or the long combo damage, and to be fair, it's not too much weaker than the medium combo, 202, so we're looking at 320,000 damage. It's realistically only doing 30% less damage again. So going from the long combo, we're doing 30% less damage. We're doing the medium combo and doing 30% less damage. We're doing the light combo. You know, it just goes down kind of proportionally. The benefit of this short combo is that you can use it from a far distance, and it's very fast. So I'll go ahead and stand far from the center barrel over here and hit start. Oh wait, I didn't reset the thing. That's awkward. So start in here, hit start, go light, heavy, and I'm done. 2.5 seconds. And you can use it from so far away. So this combo is really good for these boss fights where there's a lot of movement involved, or you're just trying to sneak in a final arts level before something else happens and you want to set on that arts level 4 in order to max out your Fearless Spirit defense up. So you can see that if I'm running around, I'm oh, trying to dodge something, I see it opening, I'm going to tap this really quickly, and now I have Arts 2. It's a super easy way to get Arts 2, or just one Arts level in general, in a really quick way, because you really cannot underestimate how valuable it is to just be able to get in from a far distance and then get out, right? And so That's the reason why I've personally been trying to stick to these 3 combos as much as I can personally. Again, these 3 combos are going to be the long combo, which is light, light, heavy, into a light, into a heavy, or the medium combo, which is a variation of that first combo, light, light, into heavy, heavy, and then the dash combo, which is used for very short trades, which is going to be light, heavy, heavy. And of course, it's up to your discretion whether or not you want to use the power surge or power rise at the end of it, just to get your stout heart going or more damage going. Just keep in mind that once again, the long combo is what gives you the best value from that, and not the medium or short combo. So yeah, hopefully that made sense, because I don't think I used the stopwatch as well as I could, but just be aware that there are a lot of data points in this game that aren't properly researched yet, and this is kind of my way of doing it, the bare minimum for that at least, just so that you're kind of aware of what to look for. So now that we're done with that, I want to go ahead and go into my actual build. So my actual build will be a bit weaker than it is normally, because I went ahead and messed with my Overmastery to hit a nicer looking damage cap, which has affected a lot of my cap in general. So my damage will be a little bit worse than it actually is, but hopefully it will still be a good way to show you guys what we're looking at. So when you're playing Jita, if you're very comfortable on your Jita, or your captain rather, and you're looking to do as much damage as possible, the skills you're going to be running with are almost always going to be Decimate, Overdrive Surge, Armor Break, and Reagan Leaf. So if you haven't watched my previous video, just very quickly, Overdrive Surge is going to be this little like drop kick. So it's going to be your very heavy hitting ability, which will do a lot of stun power. Decimate is going to be a bunch of slashes in front of you that will do a lot of small hits of damage. Reagan Leaf is kind of a fireball that you shoot out. It targets really easily. And then your third skill is going to be Armor Break, which is a kick and a gap closer that goes really, really far, as you might have seen there. So obviously you're playing captain, so arts will heavily affect all of your skills. If you go to arts 4, you'll see that Reagan Leaf, instead of being a one hit, it's going to be more like a, let's see, wait for it to all fade out. It's going to hit like 7 times. So you really want to make sure you're at Arts 4 when you have Reagan Leaf available, just because it is such an insane boost to your shortest cooldown ability. Obviously the true is also going to be, it's going to be true for, it's also going to be true for Decimate. You'll see that when you use Decimate here, you'll see so many lines come out. Like that is, I think it's 11 hits total. Like, it is crazy how strong Decimate is when you have it fully charged, compared to when you have it only at Arts 1, which we'll see here is pretty weak. It's like barely a third of the hits. Overdrive Surge is a pretty hard hitting ability. You see 259,000. That damage scales as well very hard with the Arts level. So we saw 269 earlier. If I crit here, you'll see, yeah, 565. So you saw that second line, that's actually supplemental damage flying out. So don't take that too seriously, but just know that when you have Arts 4, you've essentially double the damage from Power Raise. Armor Break is a little more boring. You see 219 or 218, kind of varying around that number because of my damage cap. This ability, when you scale it up, you don't actually get more damage, you get a better defense buff. So you see here, 251. So Armor Break is probably the one ability that I would say you don't really have to cap out of Arts 4. Arts 3 is probably good enough because you can like do this, you can do a shenanigan where you hit Arts 3 and then you like get the, it's like what? You like have a charge, you hit Arts 3, you go for a short combo, and then you do your normal loop. Right, like you do something like that with Armor Break at level 3, and that's going to be pretty good, and it's probably going to be your normal basic ability. Now you might have just seen me do something really interesting with my abilities there. You might have seen me go for a Decimate into Overdrive Surge. This is potentially a bug, and I'm not sure how I feel about sharing that here in this video, but essentially the way this game works is that if you have a lingering spell, you can actually update its damage cap by dodge canceling into a higher damage cap spell. So here we can see if I just do Decimate, my abilities all cap out about like 125,000, which is pretty good. Like, that's honestly like a really high amount. But if I were to use Overdrive Surge in between, if I dodge cancel it, you'll see that, oh, randomly I have 188,000 in there somewhere, right? So Decimate is a pretty weak hitting ability, like even the ratio is really low, so that's why the output might not seem super impressive, but that's just because my captain isn't as strong as she could be. So like the inflation from updating my damage cap isn't as prominent as it should be as well. So just doing that will really help your runs out very quickly, and it's also helpful just because Decimate is such a long casting ability. Like you can see how long it takes for me generally, that you're gonna want to be dodging anyways. So it's like a bug abuse, but it's also just kind of naturally how the character plays out, because you're gonna want to use these dodge cancels because, again, like you see how long it takes for me to move. But like tapping ability, it's a little faster, but like why not just dodge and have that flexibility as well, right? So yeah, with all that said, let's go through a full damage rotation as captain. If you have all of your abilities up, hopefully you're at Arts 4. Obviously, I already showed you guys an Arts 3 combo, but I'll go ahead and do that once again in case you missed it. If you're at Arts 3 and you're a bit far from the boss and you're trying to get into the action, you're always going to use Armor Break into a light hit, heavy hit, heavy hit, immediately into Decimate, dodge, Overdrive Surge, and then spam Regen Leaf. That will give you the best amount of damage in the shortest amount of time. If you have Arts 4, it's basically the exact same combo, except you don't have to be as, I guess, tight with it. So you can just see I'm like running around, it's just gonna be the exact same thing. Armor Break into Decimate, and then Overdrive Surge, and then Regen Leaf. So that's gonna be your very, very basic combo. So let's say that you are not as strong as these captain players that have been no liking this game since they got the game, such as I have been. Let's say you're running Rage. So this is personally what I suggest you run if you're just playing with friends and you don't have your tournaments quite yet, and you want to make sure you're carried through those Bahamut prototype runs. So what I did during those times is I would make sure I pop Rage at the very beginning, and then I do the exact same thing where I Overdrive Surge, and I Decimate, and then I just cast Regen Leaf. So obviously that's way less damage than if you had Overdrive Surge, but just keep in mind that you're buffing the rest of your team with the attack up and the defense down. Another thing with Rage is that, once again, the cast animation is really long, so the moment you see that attack buff come up, you want to dodge. Right? Because without that, if you let it cast all the way through, like even though I'm mashing attack, you saw with Regen Leaf earlier, or with Decimate as well, but mashing attack, I can act a little faster. With Rage, like, it's such a long cast, right? You should really just dodge out of it to make sure you get everything else out faster. And yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to show for this video. I know there's a lot of other abilities, such as Rain of Arrows. Well, really just Rain of Arrows. But the reason why I don't really recommend Rain of Arrows is because it works just like Armor Break, as I mentioned in my previous video, where you're not getting more damage from it, you're just getting more attack down. And if we look at the damage up from it, it's just like, it's not that bad. It's like 6 hits. I think it shares a cooldown with Armor Break, so it's not the worst ability. But when you think about what you're trading out for it, Armor Break is a really good like, Armor Break is so useful, right? You can see me dash. I can be from across the map. If I tap light hit, heavy hit, and then Armor Break, I cross the entire map in one go. Arrow Rain, you can miss it, they can move. Like, there's so many things that can happen with Arrow Rain that just don't make it a good ability in my opinion. And if you're facing the wrong way, for example, just go wherever it wants, and enemies can always move out of it. So honestly, it's not like the worst ability, but you can even see with my build, I'm struggling to cap with it. Whereas technically I'm like always capping with it. But the benefit of Rain of Arrows is that it doesn't matter, once again, what arts level you're at. You can always expect the value to be the exact same. It's going to be like 9 hits of a pretty mediocre ability, but it'll still do what it's meant to do and just do damage from a range. And maybe you're running both Armor Break and Rain of Arrows. You can always just go Armor Break, Rain of Arrows. Surely. Wow, that's actually way worse than I thought it was going to be. Armor Break into Rain of Arrows, and then probably Decimate instead of Regen Leaf. And that's going to be not too bad. But once again, you're trading off another damage ability that's gonna be way better than Rain of Arrows, so I just not use this. It is way more damage than I give it credit for though. Like compared to Armor Break, it's probably like twice as good damage-wise. But Armor Break is just so useful for the rest of your kit that I would really recommend that over Rain of Arrows. So for the last bit of this video, I just want to really quickly talk about the sigils that we might want, just as a really brief overview. I will go into more in-depth stuff about Captain's Sigil usage in tomorrow's video probably, just because there are a lot of interactions that I want to cover in depth. But what I'm running right now as a captain who hasn't really gotten everything that I really want, but a lot of decent stuff. I'm running a lot of damage caps. I'm trying to hit that 65 number. I'm just running every damage cap that has a good looking sub trait. Obviously you can see I have Potion Hoarder on this damage cap. The reason for that is because I like Potion Hoarder. I'm still a pretty new player, so I'm still struggling to hit or to avoid a lot of attacks here and there. We're also going to have, and you can also tell that Potion Hoarder is the only sigil that I bothered maxing. I don't have the time to infinite farm Prismatic Slimes for the whatever it's called that levels up your sigils, so that's the reason why I only have one leveled up sigil. I'm also prioritizing Fearless Soul over Fearless Drive plus a better trait. I do believe that Fearless Drive plus damage cap is a better sigil technically, but I do think that Fearless Spirit is fine enough. Like you're never gonna be sad about having Fearless Spirit. The damage up, the attack up is really good for capping once you're at attack or at arts 4, and the defense up will definitely save your life more often than you think, even though defense buffs don't necessarily stack. And Fearless Soul is just something that you can find really easily, just like as a focus point while you're doing your transmutations. War Elementals obviously is from Curio. I got really lucky from that old man. I got 2 supplementary damages very early on my playthrough. You're always going to want to use supplementary damage when you can. It is really strong. So if you don't know what supplementary damage is, it's essentially an echo of the hits you do, and once you're at 45 you have a 100% chance to trigger it. Right now I only have 2 supplementary damages, so I have a 74% chance to trigger it, which isn't too bad, but obviously having 100% is always going to be much more nice in the long run. Outside of that, I do have crit rate boost to boost my crit rate up a little bit because I'm not quite at the perfect overmasteries. And I have some random traits like Combo Booster just to help me hit cap a bit more easily if my fight is going well. I'll do an updated sigil guide or my own sigils when I have like my optimal loadout. And I'll talk about the optimal loadout that I want in tomorrow's video and also present the little interactions that justified that as well. So hopefully this video was pretty long. I think the editing would be very minimal just because it is mostly explained through the video itself. I hope you guys don't mind. And yeah, if you guys enjoy this type of content, please let me know. I do want to make Granblue Fantasy Relink kind of more of a consistent content farm for me, just because I really do enjoy the game. And once again, I think the captain is super fun, and there's not really much content out there for them. So if you have any friends that were kind of interested in captain, please do me a favor and let them know about my channel and these 2 videos, this one, the last one, just in case they want to see that. And please let me know any feedback they have, whether or not you guys prefer like more edited content, which I can't promise, or if you're fine with this more scuff style where I just talk in one take and I just go over what's on my mind and prattle it off and whatever and all that. With all that said, I hope you guys have a good day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.